Information has appeared in various sources that new tanks, the Black Eagle, will appear in units of the Russian army performing combat missions during a special operation in Ukraine in the coming days. On the one hand, these are still rumors, since there have been no official statements about the launch of tanks, even in a small series, for many years. On the other hand, the activation of the defense sector in connection with the special operation could affect the production of such promising products. Therefore, perhaps not hundreds, but several dozen Black Eagle samples will eventually end up in the NVO zone. The Russian military-industrial complex has announced production of 1,500 tanks, including deep modernization, during 2023. The project of the promising main battle tank T-80 UM2 had several names: Black Eagle, Object 640, Tarantula. Work on the creation of the tank began in the mid-80s at the Design Bureau of the Leningrad Kirov plant. After the closure of this design bureau, the work was transferred to Omsk to the Transport Engineering plant. Its development began in the 1990s and was carried out on the basis of the Omsk Design Bureau of Transport Engineering. When initially designed, the armored vehicle was a modified chassis of the T-80U tank with a new design turret mounted on top. The body of the machine is elongated and divided into 3 sealed compartments. The central compartment is intended for the control compartment, which is connected to the fighting compartment. Fuel tanks are located in the side compartments. An interesting fact: always during the demonstration of the tank, its turret was covered with a dense camouflage net. The crew was located in the tank hull below the turret level. Access there was through the commander's and gunner's hatches in the turret body, as well as the driver's hatch in the tank's body. The crew seats were equipped with adjustable seats with 2 positions, traveling in combat. When designing the tank, it was planned to equip it with weapons in the form of a 125mm cannon, a coaxial 7.62mm machine gun, as well as a remote anti-aircraft gun with a 12.7mm cord machine gun. The vehicle's ammunition was located in the automatic loader. The armored vehicle's turret was developed from scratch. It was welded in the form of 2 symmetrically spaced armored compartments, which were rigidly fixed to a common base. The heart of the promising Black Eagle tank, according to the designers and developers, was supposed to be a new gas turbine engine with a power of more than 1,500 EP and a combat weight of 48 tons. This decision led to the fact that the tank significantly exceeded the characteristics of Western tanks of the 3rd generation. On average, their specific power is 20 to 25 forces, while for the Object 640, this figure exceeded 30. In the 90s, the Omsk Transport Engineering plant, like other military-industrial complex enterprises, was in a difficult economic situation. Therefore, the project to create a new combat vehicle based on the Leningrad 80, which could potentially be of interest not only to the Russian army, but also to foreign customers, seemed like a salvation for the enterprise. The first information about the new tank appeared in 1996. The military promised to demonstrate it a year later. And so it happened. In 1997, the model of the Black Eagle was presented to journalists. It was a modified hull of the T-80U tank with a turret of an unprecedented design. It was she who was the main highlight of the new car. The famous Russian photo reporter Vladimir Svartsevich told me how the acquaintance with the new, promising tank went. No one was allowed closer than 150 meters to the combat vehicle. Filming was allowed only from certain angles. However, in any case, the presentation of Black Eagle caused a flurry of publications. Endless debates about who makes the more powerful weapon have been going on ever since one person took a stone and the other an ordinary stick. It is worth recalling that those years were very difficult for the Russian armed forces. The collapse and underfunding were aggravated by the catastrophic failures in the First Chechen War, which was extremely unpopular in society. The military needed at least some positivity, and the display of a new ultra-modern tank was perfect for this role. In 1999, journalists were shown not a mock-up, but a prototype of the tank. It looked much more like a real fighting machine. The tank had a long hull with 7 road wheels, a large turret with an impressive rear niche. The first expected characteristics of the machine have also appeared. It was reported that the weight of the tank was 48 tons, and its armament consisted of a 125mm smoothbore cannon and several machine guns. The power of the power plant was 1,500 forces. The Sad-Chechen experience was not in vain, so the main feature of the vehicle was the armor protection of a new design. The Black Eagle received a new generation, built-in dynamic protection system, as well as the Drosdem active protection system, designed to destroy guided missiles and rocket-propelled grenades on approach. Sensors that react to laser irradiation were also placed on the tank's hull. The protection of the turret roof was also at a high level. Its multi-layer armor could reliably withstand ammunition attacking the vehicle from above. The 1999 demonstration can be called the brightest page in the history of Black Eagle. After this event, interest in the tank gradually began to subside. In the mid-2000s, the start of work on the new Russian T-95 was officially announced. Around the same time, unable to bear the realities of the new time, the Omsk machine building plant went bankrupt. The final verdict on Object 640 was announced in 2009. The Ministry of Defense has officially stated that the tank called Black Eagle does not exist in nature. In 2011, Major General Kovalenko told reporters that the developments gained during the creation of Object 640 would be used in the development of the Armata Universal Combat Platform. It would seem that a final point was put in this epic, and Black Eagle became another turn page in the history of domestic tank building. However, now, 10 years later, they are again talking loudly about the practical implementation of the project, which for a long time was considered as the main tank for the Russian army. We are talking specifically about the T-95 Black Eagle. At one time, this tank did not find a place in the combat ranks of our army for various reasons and circumstances. First of all, I think because of its very high cost. But now, based on the realities of events in Ukraine, it can take its rightful place among domestic combat vehicles of this type. It can be assigned the role of an armored vehicle, distinguished on the battlefield by its mobility and high firepower. The characteristics of the Black Eagle tank remained unknown for a long time and managed to acquire a number of myths. However, the available data confirms the competitiveness of the machine with Western analogs of the latest generations. In this regard, the developers were able to find the optimal combination of layout, which, in accordance with a given concept, provides the tank with survivability, combat power, and the ability to effectively participate in local conflicts. In terms of dimensions and weight, the tank has the following indicators: hull length, 7.97 meters, width, 3,095 meters, height, 1,793 meters, ground clearance, 0.5 meters, combat weight, 48 tons. Due to the reduced dimensions of the turret, the Black Eagle is considered one of the lowest tanks. This aspect does not reduce its cross-country ability. With the equipment for underwater driving of tanks, the Black Eagle is capable of diving to a depth of up to 5 meters. Crew: 3 people, driver, commander, and gunner. The first is located in the control compartment. The rest are in the fighting compartment connected to it under the turret. The tank is equipped with a gas turbine engine with a capacity of over 1,500 horsepower. This increased the specific power of the car to 30.25 horsepower, which was superior to its Western counterparts with their 20 to 25. The first version of the tank had a modified T-80U chassis with a turret mounted on it. The maximum speed on the highway is up to 80 kilometers/. The cruising range without additional mounted tanks is 500 kilometers. With them, the distance doubles. There is no exact data on the volume of fuel tanks. The given range is calculated on the highway. On rough terrain, it will be lower. The main control element of the vehicle is the multifunctional remote control available to both the gunner and the commander. All systems are integrated and allow weapons to be controlled from any of these locations. The complex system also includes sight control panels, ballistic computers, weapon stabilizers, loading complexes. If necessary, the tank can be equipped with control systems for additional weapons. The complex is designed for several operating modes: main, semi-automatic, automatic, target designation, and manual. As for the weapons, in the original version, as was said, it was represented by a 125mm caliber cannon, a cord machine gun, which functions as a remote anti-aircraft gun, and smoke grenade launchers. Later, in order to increase the firepower of the Object 640, the 125mm gun was replaced with a 152mm smoothbore gun. In addition to these qualities, the tank is repairable. Most aspects are made using a modular system, which allows you to quickly change components, returning the machine to service. The Black Eagle is considered even lighter compared to the Leopards and Abrams. Western cars weigh at least 10 tons more. It will be very difficult for them on the front line, given the soft Ukrainian black soil. Therefore, there is a unanimous opinion in the expert community that this tank is superior in technical and operational characteristics to tanks of the North Atlantic Alliance. Another thing is that some experts doubt the possibility of the Black Eagle's imminent appearance in the Ukrainian theater of military operations. True, for other reasons. The ability of the Russian tank to effectively resist German, British, and American miracle machines does not raise any questions. The lack of this model in mass production is worrying. However, the near future will tell.